Have you ever felt invisible, like no one sees your pain, your struggle, or even your worth? That's how Hagar felt. Hagar was a servant, living in the household of Abram and Sarai. She had no real power, no say in major decisions, she just obeyed. Sarai, Abram's wife, had been waiting for years to have a child, but nothing was happening. So she came up with a plan. She told Abram, "Take my servant, Hagar. Have a child with her. Maybe this is how we'll build a family." Abram agreed. So Hagar, who didn't choose this, became pregnant. Suddenly, the dynamic shifted. Hagar began to feel she had value. She was carrying Abram's child, something Sarai had longed for. But that only made things worse. Sarai grew bitter, jealous, and angry. The household turned cold. Harsh treatment followed. Words, looks, maybe worse. And eventually, Hagar couldn't take it anymore. She ran away. Out into the wilderness. Alone. Pregnant. Afraid. With no idea what would happen next. But here's the turning point in Hagar's story: something powerful happened. God showed up. By a spring in the desert, the angel of the Lord found her. Not to scold her. Not to send her back in shame. But to speak life to her. The angel said, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from and where are you going?" It wasn't just a question about location. It was about her heart. Her pain. Her future. And then came the promise. God told her to go back, but not empty. He said, "I will give you many descendants. So many, you won't be able to count them." And he told her to name her son Ishmael, which means God hears. Because God had heard her cry. God had seen her pain. At that moment, Hagar gave God a name. She called him El Roi, the God who sees me. Isn't that beautiful? A servant girl, cast aside by people, but seen and spoken to by God. She said, "Have I really seen God and stayed alive after seeing him?" Hagar returned with hope. She carried more than a child now, she carried a promise. But the story doesn't end there. Years passed. Ishmael grew. But then came the day when Sarai, now Sarah, finally had her own miracle. She gave birth to Isaac. And once again, jealousy rose. Sarah saw Ishmael playing with her son, and she felt threatened. She told Abraham to send Hagar and Ishmael away. Early the next morning, Abraham gave Hagar some food and water, and sent her off with the boy. They wandered into the desert again. And when the water was gone, Hagar did what any mother might do: she placed her son under a bush, then walked away because she couldn't bear to watch him die. She wept. But once again, God heard. An angel spoke from heaven, "Don't be afraid. God has heard the boy crying." And then God opened Hagar's eyes, and she saw a well. Water in the middle of the desert. Life where there had been death. She gave the boy water, and they lived. The Bible tells us that God was with Ishmael as he grew up in the wilderness. He became strong, a skilled archer, and the father of a great nation. Just like God had promised. Hagar's story is raw. It's emotional. It's full of rejection, pain, and moments that feel unfair. But it's also full of hope. Because even when people don't see you, God does. Even when life pushes you out, God draws you in. Even when you feel forgotten, God remembers you by name. Hagar's story reminds us that God is not just the God of the powerful or the perfect. He's the God of the overlooked. The struggling. The desperate. The ones who feel alone in the desert. He's the God who hears. The God who sees. The God who shows up. So if you're in a place right now where you feel invisible, remember Hagar. She ran away, but she ran into grace. She was cast out, but she was never cast off by God. And if he saw her, he sees you too.